Hey guys, it's Kathy. I hope you're doing okay today. What is today? Today is Sunday. Today's Sunday, the weekend's almost over. Time to go back to work soon. Or, or time to start your weekend soon. That's me. Got one more day and it's my weekend. Today we're gonna do I know Kelly, these are not Kelly's favorite clips, guys. I'm sorry. I have to give you what I got. Wish I could order up Sovsits and Karens is what I wish I could order up the most, and we never see Karens anymore. Full court meltdowns. Hopefully we get some soon because it's been a while. We have September 11th until we know we're going to see another Sovsit in Judge Fleischer's courtroom, but maybe we'll find some before then. Who knows? Who knows? But son of a yes, Fozzie. Yes, he did. I'm gonna I'm gonna start the clip and put it and plug it in, don't worry. My lord. I'm moving out. I'm gonna move out all on my own. I'm gonna buy a little tiny house where no one can move in with me except for my dog. All right. So I'm going to not start this hearing. I'm not gonna start this hearing until I have my internet cord in because I don't want you to miss any of the good stuff. So if you could just talk amongst yourself for a moment, I will go and steal my internet cord back. I got something from France. I got something from France in my PO box today. Let's see what they say in France. Here we go. Sophie's excited too. Port Grimald or Grimald, Grimald. There is a postcard of Port Grimald. It's in English, thank you, Charlotte. So it was addressed to Kathy, the sweet, lovely Viber Queen. And it says, oh my goodness. It says July right at the top. July. It's almost the end of August. You know what? I bought you a card that was more cute than funny, but the envelope I have here is are too small. So I'll have to get a bigger one tomorrow. But as I promised to send you a card today, I have to keep my word. So here is a card of the city Gups. Oh, Gups Village. My father has a house in. As you can see, it's a bit like Venice. I love it. I put a cross where my house is in the picture. Is old at the time. There was no parking, no huge fancy camping zone outside of it. I guess it doesn't matter since the village still looks like this. Sending you love and hugs. Bissau, Charlotte. Hold on, I have to find her little axe and show you. I can't see it. I think, Charlotte, I think this is it right here, but I'm not 100% sure. It's lovely though. Could you imagine living here? You walk outside and get in your boat to go to work? It is lovely. Oh my gosh. You could fish, or if you lived up here, you could fish right from one of these balconies, right from inside your house. You can set up your lawn chair, your beer can, and you could fish right outside the balcony. That's so cool. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for a postcard from France. I didn't open it yet, but I showed everybody at work. I'm like, look, this is from France. This is from France. There she is. Charlotte, I got your postcard. Thank you. That's so cool. That was so cool. All right. So today we're going to do a divorce. Oh my gosh. With your Bud Light and your bologna sandwich, you can fish. Hey, 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 hey. You can't fish with wine. Who fishes with wine? The sun would kill you if you were drunk with wine. Okay, I don't know if I got the right spot because I'm blind as a bat. Is it up here? Right up here? Classy fishing with wine. With wine, cheese, and crackers. Oh, it's Jesus is right in the middle, she said. There it is. I see it, I see it, I see it. Right there. Right there. She really, 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 really can just throw a hook out her window. That's so cool. I have to drive to get the water. I just do. I I I wish I had water right in my backyard. I don't know why my dog doesn't want me to stream today, but I'm not yelling at her because she can do anything she wants. I love her. So I know why she's barking, because I still have a whole bunch of kittens here. My daughter came home from the beach, but she didn't get the kittens yet. So I got 13 animals in the house, and my dog has had enough. Not enough. I have not had enough. Yeah, yeah, very, 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 very cool. Fozzie, I'm sorry. I know you said I have a package at the post office, but the mean lady behind the counter just disagrees. I had to force her to go back and look because I said, I have a package here. She goes, well, is there a piece of paper in your box? I said, there's never a piece of paper in my box. So I have to come up to the counter. I tell you my box. You guys go into the back and then you bring me my package. She said, well, they should have put a piece of paper in your box. I said, okay, I have a package here. She said, well, I don't know without the paper. I said, can you just please go look in the back for the package that I have here? And then she went back for like 2 seconds and then she came back up and said, there's no package here. So I think there might be. And she's just, I don't know. Maybe I'll go again tomorrow and no, not tomorrow, it's Sunday. No, today's Sunday. Forget it. I'll go again another day and see if I can get a different person to give me my package, if it's even still there. What do they do with packages they don't deliver? Do they send them back to the people, or do they put them in that lost letter place? Oh my gosh. Fozzie. Fozzie. You know what? I bet you those Rice Krispie treats are gonna end up in one of those unpacking videos when they buy big pallets of letters from the post office, and then that people just pay $100 for a pallet, and they open up whatever's in there is in there. Your pallet, your Rice Krispie treats might be famous. They might get on one of those videos that gets like 1 million views. Fozzie's Rice Krispie treats. Fozzie, I don't know. You just might want to skip the post office from now on. I know, I should. No, because we grew up in the 80s, so we try not to mess with postal workers. Because we know that does not end well for anybody involved. And I know all the postal workers in the world just wants everybody to move on from that, but never. I'm never going to move on from that. I will always think of that when I think of postal workers. And Jasmine's not here, so everybody understands what I'm talking about. Georgia girl. That's cool. I hear you, CJ. I know. I know it is so expensive. All right, time for a hearing. I gotta cut the first 15 minutes off because it's boring. I kept it in because it was part of the hearing, but it's too boring. It's too much. It's too long, and I don't want to watch it over again. That's how I feel
And
about the first
I'm gonna
15 minutes.
I'm gonna make the temporary restraining 29 or
Okay, let's meet the let's meet the parties. This is the judge. We're in Harris County, Texas. We're in the 247th district. And I don't think it's in the same building, but it absolutely could be. And this is the wife, and this is the husband. And this would be the wife's lawyer. Oh, oh, wait. No, there is no husband lawyer. So that's always fun. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
into an agreement for temporary orders. Off the record really quickly. Were you guys able to agree on a date?
Yes, we did, Your Honor, but I wanted to ask you a quick question if we could.
Sure. I mean, I can't really talk to you about the substance of the case because he didn't log in.
No, it's not the substance of the case. Sean.
Okay, what's going on?
So 13th, so he's not available on August 1st. I'm in court on the 13th and the 15th. The 22nd, I'm also in court. 29th seems to be the only date that works at 3:30.
Okay,
Opposing counsel did say he's available on that date, the 29th.
okay.
But before we agree to, I just want to see, is there possibly, this trial's 2 weeks out, roughly from there. I was going to see if there's possibly any opportunity to squeeze this in before the 29th, possibly.
I mean, not other than on the dates that I gave
Gave
you.
us,
Um,
figured I'll ask.
yeah. So,
I was wrong.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll move forward with the August 29th at 3:30.
and then, I think what might have been the problem with the notice.
He said he did receive it.
I'm going to fast forward this a little bit. This
when
is
you
not this
look
trial.
at the e-file to notices in person.
Absolutely not.
Does
There
this
we go.
limited issue, can we add,
Objections that anything
Yeah,
else we
here
need
we
to
go.
discuss before you call your first witness, Mr. Norvon?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Solomon, any other objections that you want to put on the record before we go forward on this limited issue?
does this limited issue, can we add, a financial element to it? Because it's pertinent to the issue of hiring an attorney as well.
Okay, well, I don't think, you don't have a motion on file, so if you're asking if you can, are you asking if you could add the issue of interim attorney's fees or something?
Well, she has total control over our finances and savings. And so I have no money to be able to hire an attorney. That's been mostly the problem, not pretty much all of it.
Okay. Well.
You're not really late. We're just at the very, very, very beginning. The judge is thinking. Your audio is fine. Call your first witness. Let's go.
I don't.
Your Honor, may I speak?
Sure.
I was planning to ask some questions.
Of course there's a stream tomorrow morning. There is definitely a stream tomorrow morning. So there is a holiday on the 2nd. September 2nd is the holiday. There is no stream September 2nd. But, I mean, I don't have anything ready for tomorrow morning yet, but I will by then. So yes, there is a stream tomorrow morning.
And address some of the financial issues in my questioning of Ms. Samaniego, because it is pertinent to the living arrangements of the house and how some financial things have happened that, that's part of the reason that we're having issues today is some deception on the financial issues. So I am including that a little bit on there. So I don't know if that
Deception
helps you.
on financial issues.
Yeah, I mean. Well, I mean, maybe it doesn't make sense to just have a limited hearing. Maybe then it makes sense to just hear all the orders, all the issues for temporary orders. And then when you hire a lawyer, if you guys think I got it wrong or something, you can file a motion to reconsider. Are you prepared to go forward on all issues, Ms. Novarone?
I am, Your Honor. Do you have time for more than 30 minutes, though?
I have an hour and 10 minutes.
Okay, that should be sufficient. I'll try to be quick.
Okay. All right. Okay.
I do have some exhibits that were shared with the court, but they were not shared with Mr. Solomon because we had attempted to communicate with him previously about scheduling mediation, and we never received any kind of response to his email from his email address. So I don't know if there's a way to pre-admit any of those, or if you just want to share your screen when we get to them. Or I can even just try to just go without. I mean, I don't think it's really necessary to call a lot of exhibits since we have the FIS on file, and
I gave you my email address a little while ago.
When I go
Yes.
louder, hard. So why don't you send them to him by email?
and okay, I'll have my paralegal do it.
While they're just playing around, MJD 111. Thank you so much for your comments. Thank you so much for watching. I know you're going to see this later,
And
but
just
we're
to
thinking about
clarify,
you now.
the email address is solomonjl@hotmail.
Yes.
And then if you'll just, before you offer them, if you'll share screen so that we're all looking at the same thing, Miss Norbon.
Okay.
Okay.
I have my legal assistant working on that, so I can.
Okay,
Go ahead.
you go ahead and start testimony while
Okay.
that's happening. Okay. So call your first witness.
I'd like to call my client Elizabeth Rohr San Diego.
Okay, go ahead.
I did, Fozzie. I think
Elizabeth,
I put a
please
little
state your full
thing
legal
on
name
it.
for the record.
Elizabeth Rohr Samaniego.
And how long have you been married to Mr. Salmon?
We were married on February 14, 2008.
Okay. And you and your husband have 2 adopted children, is that correct?
Yes.
And what are their names?
Precious and Blessing. Precious Solomon Rohr and Blessing Solomon Rohr.
Okay. And how old were they when you adopted them?
When the adoption was finalized, they were 6 and 7.
Okay. And how old are they now?
They're 15 and 16.
Okay. What grades are they in or going
They're-
into?
They're about to enter 10th grade. Both of them are in 10th grade or
Okay.
about to enter.
Okay. And they both came from the foster system, is that correct?
Yes, yeah, they were in foster care for about a little bit over 2 years. And before that had been in an abusive home.
Okay. And so they came to you with some issues that you guys kind of had to help them with, is that right?
Yes, yeah, they had suffered severe trauma in their very young lives. And so they're still dealing with the trauma, after effects of the trauma. They needed consistency. They needed to feel safe, or a sense of safety. They needed help with anger management, with, expressing their feelings in a good, safe way. They needed to understand that they are loved and, are not in danger in the house.
And what kind of things have you done to help them adjust to and to overcome some of those issues?
Well, immediately they went into therapy, into family therapy when they were younger, play therapy at first. And as they grew out of that, I looked for another therapist that could help them now that they're adolescents and teenagers. And I found a therapist that can assist them with that, with things that they're going through from the past, but also as they're kind of navigating adolescence.
Okay. And did your husband help, or did he take any particular role in kind of working through some of those issues with them?
At the beginning, yes. In the first few years, yes. He did. He sometimes went to therapy with them when they were doing play therapy. In recent years, he has not.
How would you describe your relationship with the girls?
Um, I would say we are very, very close. The girls depend on me for a lot, for everything, pretty much. We spend a lot of time together, the three of us. It's usually just the three of us all together doing things. My husband has been pretty absent from the household, even though we've been living together until I moved out at the end of June. He was absent from their lives, usually locked in the bedroom. So the girls depend on me a lot. We are very close. They tell me pretty much everything, which I'm thankful for as they go into high school, that they still share things with me. But as the mother of a teenagers, we sometimes argue. I sometimes lose my temper with them. They sometimes lose their temper with me. Then we talk about it and get past it. But I would say we have a pretty good relationship.
Okay. And how would you describe the girls' relationship with their father?
It's pretty much non-existent. The girls, he rarely talks to them. He rarely is involved in their lives at all. Both of the girls have said they want to drop the last name Solomon when they turn 18, which I think tells you a lot. And my one daughter, Precious, before I left, said one day when we were sitting there, she said, let's be honest, he abandoned us when we were still living in the same house because there is no relationship with them. I've begged him to try to repair that over the years to no avail.
And you filed an affidavit with the court when we filed the original petition. And in that affidavit, you mentioned that your husband's behavior has become increasingly deceptive and emotionally abusive. Can you provide the court with some examples of this financial deception that you mentioned there?
He's taken out sizable loans without me knowing about it and then finding out after the fact. A few years ago, he took out a $20,000 loan that he said he took out from a friend, and I didn't find out about it till afterwards. And he still never told me why he needed that much money. He borrowed money from his 401k, which I also found out about after the fact. And I found out a couple of days ago that he had actually tried to borrow $15,000 from my father right after my mother passed away, and my father was in intense grief. And so those are some of the things, these sizable loans that I didn't know about. His car was repossessed, which I found out about after the fact. I also didn't, he told me that it was in the shop when in fact it had been repossessed. There are credit cards, bills that kind of pop up and I don't know what they're for. He quit his job without telling me. I found out after the fact because people started calling me and asking me why he had quit his job. Friends of ours, he worked for the Houston Chronicle. I also had worked there for a while. And so I had friends there and they called me to say they just announced he quit. Do you know why?
Fight for him,
And I was
Fozzie,
like,
fight.
I didn't know he was even planning to quit. And it turned out he had actually quit 2 weeks before then, but had basically acted like he was still going to work every day.
And do you know where he was going when he was gone from the house?
No, he would leave around 9 or 10 in the morning and come back or 2 or 3 at night in the morning after midnight. Very drunk, very intoxicated to the point of stumbling and not being able to stand up. So obviously he had been drinking and driving to get home like that. Or sometimes he didn't come home at all. There's a few texts that I have where I'm like, where are you? Where are you? And
Of course he's drinking and driving. It's Harris County. How is he supposed to drive?
he'll say, I just stayed at a friend's house, or I stayed, and I'm like, or one time I asked him, where are you going? And I said, what are you doing every day? And he said, I'm doing whatever I want to do.
Okay. And so the drinking that you describe, that's become worse recently, or is that something that has always been going on in marriage?
He has had a drinking problem for a long time. I've begged him for a long time to get help and said to him very clearly, I think you have a drinking problem. I think you need to get help. It has gotten worse and worse and worse. My daughters and I have found empty Jack Daniels bottles all around the house, hidden in little cubbies, hidden in his briefcase, hidden in the garage, in the garbage, in his car. I often smell liquor.
This is a temporary custody hearing that's going on during this divorce.
In the little, travel coffee cup that you carry in your car, which means he's drinking when he's driving because I could smell it in the travel coffee cup. The girls have gotten used to him coming home drunk and will often, when he comes home, look at me and go, he's been drinking. I can smell it. I can smell it.
And
Which is very bad for them to be around that.
correct. And so what concerns you most about his current drinking issues? And what kind of led for you to feel like you needed to shelter the girls from that and take them from the home?
One, it is extremely unhealthy for girls who already have a history of trauma and instability to be around somebody who is drinking to that point where he is slurring his words, where he is stumbling, where he is not making good decisions, where you can't make good decisions when you're drinking to that point, where he'll often come home and just pretty much pass out on the bed. And we can't wake him sometimes. When we were at home, we couldn't wake him sometimes. But in addition to drinking and driving, they refuse to be in the car with him in recently because they're afraid to be in the car because they think he drinks when he's driving, which he does. So I'm afraid of what can happen with somebody who is intoxicated to that point. The girls do not feel safe around him. They have expressed that to me on numerous occasions, that they do not feel safe around him.
And where are you and the girls currently staying?
We are staying in an Airbnb. This is the third one we've stayed at because the only ones available were ones that are available for like a week here or there, or a couple days here or there. So this is now the third one we've stayed at in the last month, which again is resurrecting a lot of their early issues about being displaced, about being moved from place to place. It is causing them great anxiety and stress. So right now we're here at a small cramped Airbnb, which we have to leave at the end of the week.
I'm not saying the wife is lying or she's telling the truth. I'm not saying I believe her or I don't believe her. But I do know, like if he's locking himself in his room, I can imagine there probably was a bit of nagging and fighting going on. Nagging, I bet. I just if I was married to her, I can just hear it, and I think she might be over exaggerating a bit. Like maybe there was one bottle once, and now she's like it was all. Can't even walk into a room without tripping over an empty bottle he's hidden. But I mean, he he definitely did some stuff wrong. She did, but I think she might be. Of course, that's her job. That's her job right now to put it on thick.
And they start school next Wednesday. And so they're extremely stressed about that, about not being home and not having their things. We only packed for a few days because honestly, I didn't think this would take this long. I thought he would do the right thing and move out and let us stay there. So we only packed a few things. The girls have all their stuff at home. I have, and they're very anxious about school starting and not being at home.
And you've asked him to allow you and the girls to stay in the home during the divorce proceeding, have you not?
Yes, I texted him on July 3rd, and I asked him to please please move out, let us stay there while the divorce well-being and their welfare is paramount. That's the most important thing to me, that I want to make sure that they are physically and emotionally safe. And I also asked his family, one of his sisters and one of his nephews to call him and ask him to move out.
And so he does have family in the area that he could stay with temporarily.
Yes, almost his entire family lives in the Houston area. He has several siblings. He has nieces, nephews, cousins.
He can stay with Fozzie.
Aunts, everybody who lives in the Houston area. This is where he was born and raised.
And what did he say specifically when you asked him to leave?
He didn't respond.
And are you currently paying the mortgage payment on the home?
Yes.
And the utilities?
Yes, I'm paying all the bills except me. I don't know if he's even paying the lawn and the pool, but I'm paying for everything else.
Okay. And you have filed a financial information statement with the court that describes in detail those expenses that you're paying for. about approximately how much are you paying just for the marital residence at this time? For the
Well,
bill?
oh, sorry. The mortgage is 2,054, and the bills, the monthly bills, just the utilities and bills for the house, streaming, internet, gas, electric, water, comes out to about 1,200 a month. So that's about it depends. The electricity obviously depends on the time of year, so it could be anywhere from 3,200 to 3,500 a month for that.
Okay. And how much are you having to pay for the Airbnb that you're staying in?
Well, since we moved out, since the 29th to this current Airbnb, it'll come out to about $7,700.
Okay.
And I'm having, oh, sorry.
I'm sorry. And that includes food, or is that just the Airbnb?
No, that's just the Airbnb. That doesn't include food. That doesn't include other expenses. The girls need back to school clothes. They need to get their hair done. 2 of our dogs had to go to the vet, all those other things, so that's not included. I'm actually having to take money out of my IRA to pay for this, my employee that I got through my employer, my savings through my employer.
And that's how you're covering, making ends meet during this period?
Yes.
Okay. And you mentioned dogs, and the reason you're staying in an Airbnb over a hotel or something like that is because you guys have some pets?
Yes. Yeah, we
And
have 3. Yeah, sorry. We have 3 dogs, and it's hard to find a place that'll take us. And the dogs also need to go out. It's also very hard right now because of the hurricane to find any short-term rentals. People who are displaced from the hurricane are looking for short-term rentals, so they're very hard to find. And when you could find them, you have to.
I have to know, guys, Texans, how much longer are you guys going to use the hurricane as an excuse for everything? Just how much longer? Okay. I know the hurricane did some damage and it does take a while to repair that. I feel bad for everybody that got smacked by that hurricane.
Put a lot of money up front to get them. I'm still looking just in case, but honestly, the girls really want to go home. That would be the best thing for them.
Right. And what do you do for work?
I'm an editor. I work for Chalkbeat, which is a news site that covers education.
And what is your approximate annual salary?
I make about $100,000 a year.
Okay. And your husband mentioned that you have control over the finances. Is that true? Do you guys have joint accounts?
We have one joint account that has about $7 in it right now, a checking account, and that was primarily used for the mortgage. There's about $7 in it. There is a savings account. It's not joint, it's in my name, a savings account that currently has $2,900 in it, which is about enough to cover August mortgage. Not more than that. The only other savings are my IRAs, my 401ks that I've earned through my employers. And then the girls have a savings account that is their account. It's basically their college account that I don't touch that money.
And those IRAs and 401ks that you mentioned are things that you had opened prior to marriage?
Some of them were, they're all there were rollovers from 401ks from my employers. They're not savings per se, they're my retirement funds.
And has he provided you with any financial support since you left, sent you money for the girls or anything like that?
No.
What does he do for work?
He was the sports columnist at the Houston Chronicle. So he's a journalist. He's also done radio and TV shows.
And how much was he earning at the Houston Chronicle? Do you know?
I believe it's more than 100,000 a year. It's on the tax return forms that I provided.
I get a kick out of she's making 100,000 a year. He's making 100,000 a year. They're both complaining about money.
And when did he quit?
He quit on August 24th, and I found out on May 8th, I believe is the correct exact date.
So between August and May, you had no idea that he was no longer employed?
Right. I did not know. And I didn't know we did not have health insurance because my daughters had been on his health insurance and the insurance expired on April 30th. And I didn't know that until I called to make an appointment for my one daughter to get an assessment with her doctor.
And you were told that she no longer had health coverage?
Right, right. And I had to scramble to put them on my coverage, which my employer gave me the grace of doing it after our window had closed.
Okay. And so they currently have coverage under your employer?
Yes.
And did he discuss at all with you his plan to leave the job that he'd had for 30 years? Idea why he left the job?
No, I don't. I mean, I talked to his boss, and his boss said that it was because our daughters were acting out and we had to move, which is not true. That's a lie. That goes back to the deception.
And are you aware if he had a retirement account through the Houston Chronicle?
He did have a 401k, as far as I know. Yes, he was, because he borrowed on the 401k, so he did have a 401k, and I believe he also had a separate pension through the Houston Chronicle.
And did he tell you when he left, that when you found out and approached him about not having a job, did he tell you that he had gotten another job?
He did. He said he was going to start a new job next week or at the beginning of July or something.
Yes.
And
said he
is
was
it
gonna
safe
start
to
a job
assume that
soon.
he wouldn't take a job making less money than he was making at the Houston Chronicle?
Yes, that's what I would assume. Yeah, he is a well-known sports columnist, a well-known sports writer. So I would assume any other job would pay as much as that
Nuh-uh. Fozzie doesn't know him, so he's not well known.
or more.
And when was the last time you spoke to him after moving from the home?
I have not spoken since we left.
What about the girls? Has he reached out to the girls at all?
No,
We had the recent hurricane. Did he reach out to check on you guys to see if everything was okay, or to offer you shelter, or ask if you were coming home, or anything like that?
no,
Do the girls have cell phones?
yes,
So he could have called them on their cell phone or contacted them through your phone.
yes, yes.
Who
They are
calls on the cell
reachable. He has their
phones?
phone numbers. He has
Rude.
them.
And
Oh,
prior
Fozzie,
to
of course.
filing
Never
for
mind.
this divorce, was he a fairly involved parent?
No, no, not at all. My daughters are very active athletes. My one daughter does track. Both of them were doing volleyball, club volleyball last year. And most of the other parents assumed I was a single mom because I was the only one who ever came to anything.
So has he ever taken them to a doctor's appointment?
A long time ago, maybe when they were much younger, but not actually, I don't think, maybe when they were much younger, when we both took them, like the first year, but not since then.
Okay. And has he ever attended a parent-teacher meeting?
When they were in elementary or maybe middle school. It's been a while. I'm pretty sure never in high school.
And how are the girls doing in school?
My one daughter has ADHD, so she has an IEP, a special education plan, but she's doing very well. She actually got A's and B's this last year, which, I'm very proud of because she has worked really hard to get to that point, and I've worked with her. I was a teacher for 5 years, so I worked with, trying to help them keep up in school. My other daughter struggles in school because she has anxiety. My younger daughter struggles with anxiety and often has trouble finishing her work or turning things in because she gets extremely anxious about things. And we're working with her. That was the assessment I was trying to get when I found out about the lack of health insurance. She was due for an assessment that I would work for months to get her assessed for anxiety.
Okay. And does your husband understand some of these issues and try to help them cope with the anxiety?
At the beginning he did, I will say at the beginning, but not recently. I think he sometimes thinks that they should just be over this, and he doesn't. Sometimes he'll say that I'm just, making too much out of it or reading too much or connecting everything to their early trauma. I don't connect everything to their early trauma, but a lot of it is, it's all interconnected. What happens to us when we're very young affects us later or brings back things from later. But the girls are doing well considering like I said, they both are active in sports and do very well in sports. And they're both funny and wonderful little young women. They're not little girls anymore, but they are wonderful young women who I'm very concerned about.
And you do have them in counseling, correct?
Yes, yes. I found a counselor after hit or miss trying to find somebody that they both could connect with and would feel comfortable with. I found a counselor that they've been seeing for about 1.5 years, who they both really connect with and feel comfortable and trusting of. We go to see her every other week. She just switched practices, so I was able to switch over their sessions to her at her new practice. And she's been very helpful throughout this whole process.
And has your husband attended any of these therapy sessions?
Not with this therapist, no.
And then you are asking that the court issue supervised visits under the temporary orders due to these issues and the girls' anxiety and some of the drinking problems. What are your main concerns if he were to be given unsupervised visits of the girls?
Well, my concern is one that he would possibly be drinking, driving while he's under the influence, not be able to make good decisions when he's with them. He does have a temper. They are afraid of him because of that temper. There were times in the past where he choked one of my daughters, threw another daughter in the pool.
Sir, if you have,
I'm sorry.
offended or disagree with her testimony, you'll have a chance to ask her questions later. Okay.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll be better.
You'll have a chance to cross-examine her in a second if you want to do so. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Go ahead.
Sorry, as I said, my daughters have a lot of trauma from when they were younger. One of my daughters has serious anger management issues, which we're working with. I believe my daughters when they tell me things. I will always believe my daughters when they tell me. These incidents happened when I was not at home, but that's when my daughters told me, and I believe them. I am also concerned that he hasn't been an involved parent. He doesn't know anything about them. They have told me they do not feel safe with him. Even in the first Airbnb that we were at, they were afraid he was going to come find us and do something to us. This is their feelings. This is what they're telling me. So I have to, as a mom who wants the best for her daughter, have to listen to what my daughters are saying to me. I'm concerned about the decision-making, about erratic behavior through unsupervised visits.
And have you asked your husband to get alcohol treatment?
Yes, on multiple times. Asked him to go get help, go to a 12-step. I've said, you have a drinking problem. You need to get help. I've begged his sister to intervene and get him help. And I've told her he has a problem. He needs help. And his nephews, I also talked to his nephew and said the same thing.
But he has denied going. Okay.
Yes, when I bring that up, he usually yells at me, berates me, says I'm the problem, I'm the crazy one.
And if the court were to grant him unsupervised access to the girls, would you feel better about that if he were seeking treatment for the drinking?
Yes.
And would you also feel better about that if he were required to use a SoberLink device prior to and during possession of the girls?
Yes.
And do you believe that that would be in the children's best interest, is to require him to be monitored and to get treatment?
Yes, that would definitely be in their best interest.
And in regards to the property, you are asking the court to grant you exclusive use of the home under the temporary orders period, and to restrict him from having access to the home unless you guys agree or you invite him in or something like that.
Yes, that's correct.
I'm sorry, Lacey.
And you are also asking the court to appoint you as a temporary sole managing conservator during the temporary orders.
Yes.
Okay. And that you also do you have current possession of the 3 dogs that you mentioned earlier?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And are those the girls' dogs, or who do those dogs belong to?
They're the family's dogs, but they're the girls' dogs. The dogs have so for the girls, the dogs are not just pets, they were also what helped them feel part of a family. When they first came to us, we had another dog who we lost last year, which was a huge loss for everybody. But the dogs are something that has helped the girls feel a part of a family, which is a difficult thing when you're adopting older children. You have to have that bonding, and for them to feel safe and to feel like this is their forever family. And the dogs have helped a lot.
Okay. And so you would want.
Sorry. The adoption, was that out of one of the Harris County family courts, or was that in Harris County?
It was Harris County.
Was it in the juvenile courts or in a family court?
It was family court, I believe.
It's Nora Vaughn. Do you know what court that was out of?
I can look real quick, Your Honor. I believe we have.
It was finalized 2015.
Do you know what the court number was?
I'd have to look it up. I don't have the paperwork in front of me. It's at home.
Mr. Solomon, do you remember by any chance? You're muted. You're muted, but I think you're saying you don't remember.
No, we have the birth certificates. Let me look real quick.
Yeah, no, I don't have the exact court number.
I have a scanned copy. Let me zoom in on it real quick.
But it was definitely family court, not juvenile.
Okay.
It's this copy I have is super hard to see. Let's see if I can make it bigger. I believe it was the 314.
Okay.
That sounds right.
The cause number was 2015 64 276.
Okay. That's a juvenile court. Okay.
Hmm.
I was
Okay.
just making sure you guys were in the right family court if it wasn't a family court. But go ahead.
Jim of the North, happy birthday! Happy birthday, Jim! Guys, go into the comment section real quick and say happy birthday to Jim. Happy birthday, Jim.
I thought the juvenile court would be with a juvenile offenders or something versus family court. The
juvenile courts in Harris County handle DFPS cases and juvenile detention cases. So family courts, just a short explanation, family courts handle some DFPS cases where they have continuing exclusive jurisdiction, but if it's a new filed case, it goes to the juvenile court.
Okay, then it was juvenile then, yes. Because it was.
All right, sorry to take us on that side journey. Ms. Nora Vaughn, go ahead.
Okay. And so have you looked into, in the event that the court does not grant you exclusive access to the home, have you looked into other alternatives? What is your plan if you are not able to go back to the home and have him move from the home?
I've looked to see if there are other Airbnbs that are available for a longer term or available at all, because like, as I said, with the people displaced from the hurricane, it's very hard to find any short-term housing right now. The Airbnbs are exceedingly expensive, much more than I can afford. It would be like $5,000, $7,000 more for a month. I've looked at rental houses to see if anybody is available for a short-term rental. The ones that I've found that might consider a short-term rental, a 6-month, or I'm hoping for less than that, are basically doing that for people who are displaced. So they always, the first question they ask me is, were you displaced from the hurricane? And I have to say, no, I wasn't. You know, I'm in a different situation. So I've been looking around, I've talked to realtors. The housing, because my daughters go to Kingwood Park High School, and it's important for them to stay at the same high school, again, for that consistency that is really crucial for their mental health. In our area, the houses, rental houses or apartments go for $2,000 to $3,000 a month, not including security deposit, pet deposits, all the other stuff, which would again require me taking money out of my IRA to pay for that. And especially because I'm paying for everything else on our current home.
And in addition, you're paying for all the girls' food and all of those things.
Yes, in addition for food and everything else.
Right. And so you are asking the court to order your husband to pay guideline child support based off of what income that we know of, which would be his prior income with the Chronicle, which would make that child support payment about $1,434. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you are currently paying medical insurance for the girls at about $194 a month.
Yes. If you subtract mine, yeah, it's actually probably more than that. Yes, but it's about that. It's about
194.
that.
I think
Yeah.
we calculated 194.49.
Yeah, it's roughly that.
And then dental coverage of $22.09.
Yes.
Okay, ma'am, when you start to answer before she's done with the question, it makes the court reporter's job really
Okay.
difficult. So you have to wait till, even if you know what the end of the question is, wait till she finishes and then start. Otherwise, your answer is not getting into the record.
Okay.
Okay. Just to summarize that testimony, I think the question was, it's about $194 per month for the medical insurance, and you said yes, correct, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay.
And the dental coverage is about $22 a month, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so you are asking that he pay cash medical support in addition to the child support for that coverage?
Yes. Sorry.
And again, this is health insurance that they were previously covered under his employment, correct? And now you've had to switch to yours.
Yes.
Is the policy about equal as far as coverage wise, or did you, was it more or less expensive prior to him quitting his job?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know the answer to that. I think in terms of coverage, it's about equal. But I don't know the cost. So.
And you mentioned that I believe you said on the 2nd, is that correct, of August?
August 3rd.
August 3rd. Okay. And so ideally you would like to take possession of the marital home on August 1st, on or before the end of the day, like 5 p.m.
Yes, so that would give us time to get settled. We get to leave the Airbnb August 3rd in the morning. The checkout is in the morning. So yes, we would like to have the time to get settled and actually start getting them ready for school. They go back to school on August 7th, and my volleyball tryouts on Monday and Tuesday. So.
And where does the closest relative of your husband live in the vicinity of your marital residence? Is it relatively close by?
He has family that lives in the Spring area, and he has his mother and other sisters live in Acres Home area, and then he has other relatives, in different places.
And that's all within Harris County?
Yes.
And so if the court orders supervised visits, are you asking that the court do those visits through a facility like the DRC?
Yes.
I believe. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Solomon, I'm going to
Here
give
we
you a chance
go.
to talk later, but right now, if you have any questions for your wife, you can answer any questions that you have for her. If you don't have to, but this is your opportunity to ask her questions.
Hold on, sir. After I got off work tonight, so I have two children that are over the age of 21 years old. And I really thought when my children turned 21, that finally, I would have some people to go to the bar with all the time. Whenever we wanted to go to the bar, we would go to the bar, right? No, that's not how it works. Your kids don't want to go to the bar with you. They just don't. But I got off work tonight, and I'm like, come on, girls, let's just go. Let's just go to the bar. I work at a brewery where all the beers are, they're like craft beers. So they have like a ton of flavor, one way or another, bitter or fruity or whatever. They have a ton of flavor in the beers. Well, we went to a dive bar, smoking and bikers and it was wonderful. You have to like climb over the bikers and through the bikers just to get to the seat. I don't know, it just felt great. Um, and I had Coors. That's what I was drinking tonight. 3 Coors right after work. And I had designated drivers. It was great. It was so fun. I hope they do that more often, but kids. You know how kids are.
Boy, there are many issues that I wouldn't want in the court record, so I'll try to. I'm at such a disadvantage here. It's really. First of all, um, Monica, would you correct your incorrect statement of saying that pool? Because that did not happen. It was never even alleged.
Um, that was what Precious said happened, and that's why CPS investigated.
No, Monica, you're not remembering it. I threw her scooter in the pool.
Okay, then I'm misremembering.
Sir,
Well, okay, I'm sorry.
hold on. I'm just
I'll
gonna
try
give
to
you,
speak like
I'm
a
gonna give
lawyer.
you some instructions, okay?
Okay.
And I understand that this probably might be the first time you've ever had to be in court. Probably definitely the first time representing yourself. Okay, so just right now, the
Just
court
ask questions.
reporter, yeah, and the court reporter has to write down everything you say. So if you guys start to argue, she can't do that. Okay, she just sort of throws her hands up. And what you say at this point isn't evidence because you're supposed to just be questioning. Okay, so you can't really respond to what she's saying right now. If you want to respond to what she's saying, I'll give you an opportunity to testify in a minute. Okay, so you'll have a chance to tell your side. All right. So right now, if you have a question for her, she's given an answer to that question. If you want to clarify something, for instance, just now you said, no, I threw the scooter in. It wasn't. You could ask her a question. Isn't it true I threw the scooter? But you can't just make statements. Okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
So, for the past 15 years, who has paid the mortgage on the house?
We split the finances of the house in that you would pay the more. I paid the down payment through a gift from my parents. They gave me $50,000 for the down payment, and then we agreed that my husband would pay the mortgage and I would pay all the other bills, and that's how we had divided the finances until recently.
So for 15 years running, up until the day after, 2 days after you moved out, your husband had paid the mortgage?
Not every month. There were many months where you didn't have the money, and I had to take money out of savings or take money from my accounts to pay the mortgage.
Is it true that 100% of the time that the money was taken, any, shortage because the payday wasn't there yet, was taken out of savings, was not put back? You were able to bring it back? That happened every time, correct?
No, that didn't happen every time. There were some occasions when that did not happen.
How many times in 15 years are you alleging?
I don't know. I didn't keep track.
Could you give me an estimate?
Maybe he is.
Is it more or less than 5 times?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. I don't know.
On the couple of occasions you said on multiple occasions that I choked a daughter?
No, I said that happened once, that's what my daughter told me, that I was not home At the time, actually, I believe, and if I'm remembering correctly, and I may not be remembering the time frame correctly, that it was when I was with my mom who was dying at the time. And there was an incident which my daughter told me that my husband choked her when I was not there.
Mhm. In the many, how many physical confrontations have you seen between Precious and Blessing, and Precious and or Blessing and me?
I've seen many, several.
And
Um,
would you characterize each and every one of those as they were attacking me or attacking you?
I would say that the girls have some of the girls have had anger issues in which sometimes they respond physically, in which I've often told you not to touch them during those incidents because that only makes it worse. And you still will grab one of them to take them off of me. Yes, granted, to take them off of me. But I've also said, do not touch them during those incidents because touching them, especially my husband touching them when they're like that, makes it worse.
Is it
Even
fair
if
to
it,
say that?
even if it, sorry, even if it is to so-called protect me, even though I'm saying I don't need it, I don't need it, don't touch them.
There have been many times where you said, get her off.
I just think this woman is, manipulating her words so far they're gonna break in a way to like she'll say something, but she manipulates it so badly that because she wants everybody to believe one thing, and I just don't. I think that she is manipulating everybody. I do. I'm not saying he's not a bad guy for doing all he did. I think he did a lot of what she said that he did, but I also think that she knows, it sounds like she knows psychology and she knows how to say certain things to entice a reaction.
Help me.
I've said help me, but don't touch her.
And have there been, how many times has there been where I came in to discipline or punish or do anything to one of the girls that is at all physical that I initiated in any way whatsoever? How many times has that happened in the 9 years they've been here with us?
I don't know. I don't know. What I know is that
You don't know.
I don't
Do
know.
you,
What I
do
know is,
do you recall that ever happening?
yes, I've seen incidents where you've grabbed them roughly, where you've put your hands on them when I said don't put your hands on them. But my concern is the girls' well-being. They feel unsafe. They have told me that
Can you
again
just
and
answer the question that I asked? You already
Hold
said
on.
that.
She's already answered that question, so you'll have to ask another question, okay?
Um,
Everybody
do
would
you
get
know
tased.
that the
Everybody.
girls have their phone blocked and I'm unable to contact them? Have you witnessed that before?
I told them to unblock you
Mm. When was that?
after we moved out. And before that, actually, before that, Blessing does not have you blocked. Precious had you blocked because she doesn't want to have anything to do with you. But I told her to unblock you because you needed to get in touch with her if there were any emergencies, and it was important for you to be able to reach her.
But we've been saying that for years and they still kept me blocked.
But I have told them to unblock you specifically.
The lawyer
The,
is very pretty.
the oh, this is just horrible. How many times have you quit your job since we've been together?
I've changed jobs
How many times have you quit your job since we've been together?
I've changed jobs a number of times. If you want me to go through the list, I can, but every time.
Is it more or less than five? Is it more or
Hold on.
less than five?
Hold on, you have to listen to the question that he's asking. What he asked you called for a number, ma'am. So how many times have you changed jobs? If you know.
I don't know. Can
Is
I
it,
go
is
down
it
the
more,
list?
is it more or less than 5?
I don't know. Can I go
She
down?
is,
No.
Sure.
Okay.
Hold on.
We don't need to do that, but it's been at least 10 times.
Okay,
No.
hold on. Again, it has to be question, answer, question, answer. Y'all aren't having a conversation.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor.
So, and
I
in some of those instances, you took significantly less money to take a new job. Yes or no?
yes, always with you first.
Always
Uh,
with what? Hold on, sir. Always.
Always. I left to go teach because I felt a calling to teach, which meant a significant pay cut. Then I went back to the journalism, and then I went back to teach after we adopted the children because I felt it would be better and give me more time with my daughters to be a teacher, always discussing it with my husband first. And my job now with Chalkbeat, I left a very high-paying job on the Houston Chronicle editorial board, a very prestigious job, to take a job with Chalkbeat, which pays about the same as my previous job. But that would give me more flexibility and able to be with my daughters. During the pandemic, I had to both teach them virtually. I was their main teacher and work, and it became too much. And so I was very lucky to get a job that I could work
and there was
remotely
a
and
hurricane.
have the flexibility because my job now gives me the very much a lot of flexibility to pick my daughters up, drop them off, go to their games, go to school, do everything they need. But always, every time I've changed jobs, I never did it without discussing it first with my husband.
Do you recall telling me that the girls did not want me to come to their sporting event because it made them too nervous?
Yes, they don't want you there.
Okay,
It upsets
yes
them.
is the answer.
Okay,
Sorry.
if he asks you a yes or no question, you just have to limit your answer to yes or no.
Okay.
Sir, Mr. Solomon, you muted yourself, sir. You got to unmute. You're muted.
He's locking
Did I
himself
attend the
away.
majority of their games before the last few years, the last couple of years, once they said that they were nervous in performing in front of me?
You went to games. Yes, you did. You went
Did
to
I
their games
coach their
regularly.
team? I also coached their team before, correct?
1 year you coached their team when they were in elementary school.
And I always helped them with their sports?
No, that's not correct.
I'm just such at a disadvantage. Did you, how long in advance of when you moved out into the Airbnb had you planned on making that move?
I started calling attorneys when I found out you had quit your job without telling me.
So, the 1st of May, early May.
The beginning of May, early May.
Why did you
Actually,
choose?
no. Actually, Your Honor, can I?
Go ahead.
I actually started calling attorneys before that when you were begging me for money one day, and it's and screaming and slamming a door in my face, and it scared me so much that I realized I could not stay, and the girls could not stay in that atmosphere any longer. I was so scared right then because it felt.
So you took 3.5 months to prepare for the date that you needed to leave.
Objection, relevance.
Because earlier, I'm gonna speak to the, Your Honor, on the objection. Is that it?
Yeah, how is it relevant?
How's it relevant? Because she made a significant point about the girls' care and safety and being in fear. That's a long time to live in fear when you have other options, for one. And two, the particular date that she left is the therapists have told her and told us that it's a particularly traumatic time of year for them every year, and they would have to deal with it. And she ignored that and left on the anniversary of when they moved into the house. She ignored that and left 2 days before my daughter's 16th birthday, which now her traumatic 16th birthday is, oh, that's when we had to leave to go somewhere, when there was nothing going on in the house that would require them to have to leave. And and one of the dogs is the dogs, one of them is brand new. He's been with us about 1.5 years. The other one has been with us since well before the girls were even thought of, back in 2010 or so. The other one I found on the street, then they found, and we brought him in from a neighbor down the street. And that dog, taking them out of the home was pretty traumatic for them, I assume too. They won't even let you pet them.
Mr. Solomon, is it your position that I should deny the temporary orders and you guys should all continue to live in the house? Or what is it that you
Yes, because
happen?
if I can answer that, yes, that's certainly what I'm thinking, because it's the level of fear and it is well overblown, and it's making it sound like I'm a violent person when they are fighting each other all of the time, the three of them, daily. And quite often it's physical. That's what I was really hesitant to put this in the record, because my girls mean more to me than my comfort. But the way this has been categorized there in this first 45 minutes is like I'm wreaking havoc around the house, and that is absolutely untrue and not the case. I will ask you a question. Have you and the girls had a physical altercation in the month that you've been away? Not one.
Not one.
Just verbal
No,
altercations?
no.
Oh,
There have
so
been no tantrums. I'm under oath right now. No tantrums.
Yeah, but
Lying.
No meltdowns, no physical altercations since we have been out of the house.
and then that 1 month, would you categorize that as the longest stretch of time that you've not had a physical altercation with the girls?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. I mean,
You're
no, I
not
don't
sure.
know. I don't know. But Your Honor, if I could just address something he said about the timing.
Wait,
My attorney
no.
can.
no, ma'am, there's not a question on the table. I do think it would be really helpful if Mr. Solomon was represented by counsel. Mr. Solomon, you mentioned earlier that you don't have access to any of the community funds to hire a lawyer. What community funds were you hoping to have access to hire a lawyer?
The money that she was able to save during our time, because I paid, and we didn't mention this part. We can go past the questioning part and I can talk down. Is that,
Well,
you
no,
want me to do that?
I'm just answer
Which-
that.
The money that she has saved, that's,
Okay.
she was able to save because I pay the mortgage every month and pay other bills. That's in large part.
You're talking about the money in her IRA, or do you think there's like hidden savings?
There are other savings, yes.
Okay. And if there's not other savings, you won't be able to hire a lawyer. Is that the?
It will be extremely difficult. Yes, I have a check for some work I did last month that should be coming any day now and help. But I was going to use that to pay the mortgage on this month, because the mortgage is due tomorrow, or whenever the first is. But I will continue to pay for the house as I've done,
Okay.
throughout the time.
Hold on. And I'm not suggesting you have to agree to this one way or the other, but would you be, if she agrees to pay the mortgage for the next month or two, would you be agreeable to go stay with a family member or whatever in order to give you guys a chance to go to mediation, and you come back with a lawyer when
Listen
you
to
get your
his
check
response.
in? Is that something that you're open to?
I really am not, Your Honor, just in terms of being blindsided by this. a spot that I wasn't expected to be in. So I'm surprised by the just disappearance of them. And so we've had no communication, not one conversation before or after. She just left, and I was like, "Oh, where are y'all? Are y'all coming home?" And she would not respond to me.
Okay.
But
you,
but yeah,
you, sir,
I'm a 60-year-old man. I don't want to go try to find somebody's couch to sleep on. I mean, that's just, you know what I mean? That's not really something that I don't think that I should have to do in our house that is safe, and there's nothing, and certainly what lack of safety, it has nothing to do with me. It's the altercations that are almost exclusively between her and one of the daughters. One of the others is just better now, but she's much better than she used to be. The other one, they fight every day. I mean, and it's physical 2 or 3 times a week. They argue all day, every day. And that's between them, and they're trying to deal with it. And like I said, as she said, they've had issues. They're amazing girls. They're doing much better than the world set them up to do beforehand.
But so the answer is no. So she's saying she does not want to live in the same house with you. But that knowing that, so she's saying she does not want to live in the same house with you. So knowing that, your position is that you would like to stay in the house and she lives somewhere else if she doesn't want to live there.
If she doesn't want to live there, I would think that would be the best thing for her. Or and without access to the money, it'll be difficult for me to live outside of my home and without. I mean, it's just that I'd be homeless basically.
Okay.
And I also want to correct something too of the health insurance, where I was paying more in health insurance because I carried her on my health insurance as well as the 2 girls. And when I quit my job, I paid the Cobra to continue the health insurance. She didn't believe me and went behind my back after she called, and they said, "Oh, some problem with your insurance." I was like, "We have insurance." Like, "No, you don't." And then she just went around, dropped everybody, moved them, went through a lot of steps that I can tell now that she was planning to do these things. But it was categorized as if I don't care about my daughter's health, and I'd like, "Oh, forget it." No, they had insurance until she decided to change them over to theirs. She didn't move me over there, which was a telltale sign.
Okay. Do you have? I don't want to cut you off, but if I'm gonna have to rule on the issues, I need you guys to finish.
I just don't know I don't know what I need to say or what factors here, because I said I'm at such a huge disadvantage here. I just do know this: that house is not dangerous, and it's certainly not dangerous because of me, and it never has been. And she knows that, period. This incident from way back when was me throwing the scooter in the pool because the girl wouldn't listen and tried to ride the scooter in the street. That was it.
Okay, sir, do you have any other questions of Miss Roar Samaniego?
No, I don't have any more questions for her. No.
Miss Nora Vong, do you have any other questions?
I just have a couple of questions for Mr. Solomon.
Okay, you want to call Mr. Solomon?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, go ahead.
And Mr. Solomon, would you state your full legal name for the record?
Jerome Lee Solomon.
And you were previously employed with the Houston Chronicle, is that correct?
Correct.
How long did you work there?
It's the first thing I wrote for them was in 1992. I left for a couple of years to go to the Boston Globe, but then came back.
And that's a pretty long time to be at a company. Did you have retirement available to you?
I have 401k. Yes.
And do you still have access to that 401k?
I do not have access to that, no.
Have you transferred the money or withdrawn the money from the 401k?
It's gone.
Where did it go?
To cover debts.
Okay, and did you discuss withdrawing this money from the retirement account prior to doing so with your wife?
No,
And about approximately how
just
much
as
would,
just as she's never discussed withdrawing or using any of her savings or our savings that she has control over with me. She makes these decisions without consulting me all of the time. That's the nature of our relationship.
approximately how much did you withdraw from the 401k?
$200,000
And when did you do that?
when I left the company
He spent
So just recently.
$200,000. He
a few
spent
months ago.
$200,000.
Okay. And what debts would that have gone to pay off? It didn't pay the mortgge. Was it credit card debts? What
No,
did
see
you-
that I every month
you have
until
been paying.
until they moved out. The only month I have not paid in 15 years was this last month.
Okay, next question. I think the question that she was trying to ask you is what did the $200,000 go to pay?
There were some company debts that I'd owed for my production company that I used it for, and hoping to continue that company and make something big of here by the end of the year, for sure. And I bought a car.
So this production company, is this a new entity or is this something that you?
No, it's been in business since 2018.
And what is the name of the production company?
Rimsol Media.
And you mentioned previously
It's
that
currently not operating. It's currently not operating now, though.
okay. And you mentioned earlier that you have obtained another job. Is that correct? That you start in August?
I'm planning to start a job working in August. Yes, I needed to take these months off. Since 1992, when I first wrote my first story in the Chronicle, I'd not gone one solid week without turning on my computer. I was completely drained and drawn out. And this has been a difficult year. Last year was a tough year with losing Machado, our dog, et cetera. But this year has been particularly difficult with several of my best friends, good friends dying. My mother's dying of Parkinson's. I spent during this month when you were away, I spent nights in the hospital with her. And my brother-in-law just got out of the hospital yesterday. He's like a brother to me. He found out he had leukemia, and he's been there for 39 straight days until he just checked out. So there's a lot of challenges. I have not been healthy. I've not been physically well, and just emotionally drained, and so the job was just wearing me out, and I needed a break. I needed a shutdown. So I talked to my boss, and it is absolutely 100% incorrect. And if he told you that, he lied, and I will make sure to get words from him on that. He did not tell you I wanted to quit. I did not tell him that I wanted to quit because we were moving. I left the job. I asked for a leave of absence. They wouldn't grant it to me.
Mr. Solomon, just wait for the next question. Okay, you got non-responsive to the question, so just wait for the next question, okay? Go ahead, Ms. Norvong.
Okay. And prior to leaving this job, you did not discuss it with your spouse, is that correct?
I did, but she wouldn't talk to me. She just yelled at me.
Okay. And some mental health issues. Will you?
No, I
admit-
didn't. I did not say I have mental health issues. I said I was drained.
Okay.
I think you should rephrase that question. That's not what he said.
Do you currently have a drinking problem?
No, I do not.
Do you drink frequently?
I would not use that word frequently. No.
Have you ever come home and passed out in front of the girls?
No.
Have you ever drank and drive on your way home?
Ever? I'm certain that, yes, I have before. Certainly. But it's not a regular thing. It's not a common thing. but I'm not going to lie and say I've never done that before. But yes, I have.
Okay. Has your wife asked you to get help with the drinking problem?
Yes.
And what was your response to that?
She said to me, I think you drink too much. I said, no, I don't. I'm fine. I don't drink that much. I don't drink nearly as much as you think. She's like, well, you're just always in the back room. I'm like, yeah, because you kicked me out of every other room in the house. And that's the only place I can go to get away from you guys fighting and arguing. But I'm in the bedroom on my computer working because I don't have an office upstairs anymore since you kicked me out of there. But no, I do not have a drinking problem. And that's just not an issue. It's never been an issue. I don't have any kind of alcohol-related illnesses, alcohol-related arrests or charges or anything along this nature. So no, I do not have a drinking problem.
You mentioned earlier that the girls feel anxious or nervous coming for you to come watch their sporting activities. Do you know why that might be?
Not specifically, no. I just know that they know I know sports because it's what I do. And I coach them. I try to tell them things to do, and they sort of want to listen. But the nerves, I don't that's just what they told Monica. Or that's what Monica told me that they told her, that they don't want me to come. So I've gone to their games and hid in the back and sat in the end somewhere so they wouldn't see me. But I didn't want to be disruptive to where, make them nervous and not perform. So I just couldn't do that because she said, no, Blessing said, don't come, you make her nervous. So to twist it and turn it around now and go, he's not there, is extremely unfair and just not true. It's what I do. I would love nothing more than to be at all of my girls. I'm there when I was at track meet last year. I'm filming it on my phone. I've got hours and hours of
Lots of people
volleyball
drive me to
and
drink.
track stuff
Lots.
on my phone that I
Millions.
recorded from when I was there. I think the last volleyball was probably late last year when they had a tournament somewhere and I had to drive them all the way out to Katy because it was far out there. But no, there's no lack of attention or interest in their performing. It's just they're nervous because they get nervous, and they get nervous. It's for things that don't have anything to do with necessarily with the trauma. It's more about they're just performing in sports it brings about anxiety, and the best they're able to overcome it, the best they're able to use that anxiety. And I've talked to them about that. I'm like,
No,
hey,
he's
you're
just for
good
his
that you're
wife.
nervous. You're supposed to
No,
be
thank
nervous. You
you.
played through that. You can do it. You're talented enough to make it happen. But I wasn't going to go and not give them an excuse. So don't mistake what I'm saying here, but I don't want them to not perform well and believe it was because I was there and they saw, and that threw them off. But it's certainly not. I don't know if that she didn't indicate this, but maybe you're thinking this. It's certainly not because I yell at them when they're playing or whatever.
No,
Monica
Blessing,
does all the
that's
yelling at
not
them when they're
right.
playing.
Okay,
I just sit and watch.
So Monica or your wife mentioned that your daughters are in therapy and have been for over a year with the same therapist.
Right.
Have you made any attempts to go to therapy with them to help work on y'all's relationship or some of these anxiety issues that have been talked about?
It's not that kind of therapy. When the other therapists they had, when they were
Objection, non-responsive.
excuse me.
The question was, do you go? And so I think it was a yes or no question, and then I'll give you a chance to expand on that.
No, I haven't. I've been by there a couple of times, but I've not gone into therapy with them. No.
How would you describe your relationship with the girls currently?
It's a strained relationship. I mean, Precious in particular, just, they won't speak. I speak to them every morning. Anytime I take them anywhere, I drop them off and say, who loves you? Daddy loves you. Every time I try to talk to them, I try to talk to them every day and get nothing coming back. And then part of that is just, everybody's telling me that's teenage girls do that, et cetera. I'm like, well, I know there's more than that, but I try what I can. But I know their mother has gotten to the point where she dislikes me in a lot of ways. And so that conversation pushed them in a certain area there, but there's not a good, strong, solid relationship. I ask them all the time to let me take you somewhere, let's do things. And they choose not to. And I without question, but it is difficult. It's a challenge for me to be around them and not feel the love from daddy's girls that I would love to have. And I know that one day we'll get there. But you know, I'll save the rest of that for the next. And Judge has to go too, right?
And in the past, and we're just going to bring it back to the drinking a little bit. Have you ever been arrested for a DWI or a DUI?
No.
No. Have you ever? So you've never been pulled over, arrested?
Don't give Fozzie ideas, Kelly. No. Hell no.
Or charged with any kind of consuming alcohol while driving?
In Atlanta in 1991, but I was charged, and then when they got the results back, they dropped the charge because I wasn't over the legal limit at the time.
A mod calendar. Yes.
You leaving your job at the Houston Chronicle, I guess I never really kind of pinpointed where is it that you're going to be working?
I'm not retiring for the rest of my life. No, I plan to do some work. I do need an income. I hope I have some years left to live. But yeah, I mean, I wanted a leave of absence, and the company wouldn't grant it to me and guarantee that I would come back. And they told me, well, if you quit, you'd be leaving in good standing. You could even get hired back. It's the same as taking the leave.
The question, sir, was where do you have a job set up, and where is that?
But that wasn't the question. But
she said, "Where are you going to be?
Are you planning to work?"
Right?
And I said, and my answer was yes.
Well,
I
I'm
plan
clarifying.
to. Okay.
Well, you mentioned that you're going to be starting work in August. I believe.
Yes, I'm planning to start work in August on two different television
legit.
shows and for a TV network. But we're still discussing the official start date and parameters around that. But as of currently right now, I am unemployed.
And this job that you're talking about in August has nothing to do with your production company. It would be you going to work for someone else. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know what your salary will be at that new job?
I don't know that yet.
CJ, that's my
you
name.
Haven't been offered the position yet.
Not in writing yet. No. Or verbal.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
I think they want working mods.
Mr. Solomon, is there anything else that you've heard what they're asking for temporary orders, correct? And you were served with the pleading. So is there any you want to say that's relevant to the request that she's making today?
Like I said, I just the house that I've been paying for 15 years is our home, and she should not have even left.
Legal, we all want
honestly.
that. Yes,
and
we can.
Her lawyer keeps mentioning, did I discuss this with her? Did I discuss that with her? No, because she won't let you discuss things with her. Did she discuss any of this with me? No. Perhaps if she had come to me beforehand and was like, okay, listen, you need to leave. Here's the money. Go stay in the Airbnb while we do this. I would have gone. I guess I could have gone to the Airbnb, but I would need the money. But she made that decision without me knowing anything about it and just left because she could, because she has a lot of money that she has access to. And now she wants to categorize it as if she doesn't have that much. And she knows that it's simply untrue.
Donald would have to
just
approve
from
first.
the girls' money that we've gotten from the state for taking in the girls, it's probably $100,000. And I know we were like, hey, let's put that aside. But it's
We
still
don't
the
know.
money that's there that was sent to us to take care of the girls. And we decided that you would just keep it and put it wherever you needed to. And it allowed you to do that. Whatever monies you saved during this time was because you're paying significantly less for the household than I was, even though you made the same amount of monies sometimes. You quit your job 10 different times to come and go. This one time when I needed a break, I get no support. And it's I'm not even angry about it though, but I'm with you. The girl's safety is the most important thing to me. But don't tell me they're not safe around me, because it's just 100% absolutely untrue.
I believe
And
that.
because nothing has happened. I mean, or whatever happens is between you and them,
I
period.
believe that.
And I break up the fights. And and frankly, a couple of times, if I had not been there to break up the fights, I don't know how hurt you are. You've had bruises all over your body. You've been beaten senseless. And I've had to step in. And then, of course, when I step in, the girls, turn on me. I'm like, fine, give me that. But I'm like, but I'm not the cause of this fight. Sometimes I wasn't even there. I'm at the stadium trying to work, and I get a phone call. You need to come home. This year alone, we've had them call the police twice. And so I would really be worried if I'm not there, because I don't know what would have happened in those times had I not been there. You've come close to being severely injured, and it's not their fault. They're dealing with it. They were so mistreated when they were babies that they've got a lot of trauma in there. And I've never been dismissive of that trauma. That's blatantly false. We've disagreed on how to best approach getting help for them and helping them get better. And so we've had that. And yeah, I've kind of not thrown my
You
hands up in the air,
talks
but
a
I'm like,
lot.
I don't know what I can do, and I haven't figured out how to do it. But it hadn't stopped me from wanting to get something done and wanting to help and wanting to be there. There's no danger in that household, and you know that. You know that.
Anything else, Mr. Solomon?
I don't know what else I'm supposed to put out there, because again, I'm not an attorney, obviously.
Can you tell me, sir, how much you mentioned that you are expecting a check to come in for some work that you did? How much is that check?
That check is for $3,700.
Okay.
It should have
then-
been 2 weeks ago, so it could be any day now.
Okay.
And I was going to use 2,000 of that to pay the mortgage
Okay.
and then other bills. And I paid bills during this time. I paid the yard man $1,600 to do all the work that he's done around there. I've been working on the fence, doing stuff since the hurricane knocked some things over.
Okay.
So
And-
there has been some of that.
What is the date you left your job, sir?
I don't know the exact date. I know it was early May,
May. Okay.
late April.
And it's your testimony that none of the $200,000 is left?
No. But I continued to pay everything in May, April and May. And so but no, it's not there.
Okay. Anything else that you want to say? Do you know how much money your wife has in the bank?
No, I do not.
All right. Anything else, sir? Do you want to
I mean, and I mentioned that the dog's mine, like her lawyer asked her uh, about doing things for the dog. And I'm one of the dogs she'd never taken to the vet before. I'm the only one that's ever taken him. And the other one I take 90% of the time. The new one, that's her little one that she handles that. But the dogs sleep with me. You know, we haven't slept in the same bed since the pandemic. So we're not even in that kind of, you know, issue in terms of there's not enough room there. And like, as she said, oh, he just locks himself away in the bedroom. Then I'm out of sight, out of mind. It's not the issue that it's being presented as, and she knows it. And that's disappointing, but I understand it.
Okay. Anything else, or do you pass yourself as a witness?
Yes, I pass. Thank you.
Okay. Anything else from you, Ms. Noravon?
All right, Kelly. Kelly, you have 2 months to spend $200,000. What do you buy? Just you. No rules. You have 2 months. You have $200,000.
No, Your Honor, I'll rest.
Okay. Any other witnesses from either one of y'all?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
My battery dead on my phone. Sorry.
Okay. You can come sit right here.
I just buy my Temu cart.
His battery died.
Oh, I was like, he's frozen.
You just sit right up there.
Okay, in case you're confused, Dad is in the courtroom. Dad came to court today. But the judge is like, well, this is weird with you in the courtroom and everybody else is on Zoom. So go into the other room and get on Zoom. So he did. And then his battery died. So now he's back in the courtroom.
Okay. So, I don't think it seems like a tenable solution for you guys to live in the same house. So, based on what I've heard today and, you know, understanding this is temporary orders, so I'm not awarding her the house. I'm awarding her temporary possession of the house, beginning, what time do you have to check out of the Airbnb, ma'am?
We have to leave by 11 on August 3rd.
Okay.
11 a.m. Sorry, August 3rd.
Okay, so beginning at 10 a.m. on August 3rd, she'll have exclusive use of the house. So you're gonna need to find some place to stay on a temporary basis. And she will pay all of the mortgage and bills related to the house. Sir, she asked that if you're gonna have visitation with the girls, that the visitation be supervised by the domestic relations office. By your own testimony, that your relationship with the girls is strict. If I'm gonna order some court-ordered visits, what would it be your preference that look like?
Well, I would not want to have supervised visits with them. Frankly, I would rather not be given visitation than have supervised visits because, like I said, I'm concerned about their trauma. The last supervised visit they had was with the mother who abused them. She got arrested and charged with that and taken away, but they got to see her one more time. They're not going to be comfortable with that, and I'm not just not going to do that.
Well, if you could meet them at a restaurant or something, or is there a family member's house? Could you go to I heard that your mother is ill, but I also heard you have other family. If not necessarily supervised situation, but is there someplace else that you could meet them out?
Oh, I
for a few
definitely
hours?
would love to see, but but supervised. Some stranger being there. It's just I
Sure,
don't
I
think
hear
they can
you.
handle that.
But if I'm gonna order that you have some visit, is there,
At the house? I mean,
Miss Rohr Samaniego, if he was gonna come over and visit for a couple hours, is there some reason why it would be inappropriate for that to happen at the house?
Well, one, I would be concerned because the girls do not feel safe in the house with him. They've actually expressed concern that even when we move back in, will I be safe alone in the house when they're at school? I think they would prefer it. I mean, I'd have to ask them because I would have to be guided by what their comfort level is. But I feel like they would prefer if it would be somewhere outside the house, in public, in a public setting, or at a family member's. Because there's also concern that once he gets in the house, he's not going to want to leave again. I've asked him repeatedly to leave over the last several years, and he has refused to leave.
Your Honor,
Okay.
I've asked her to leave every time she says that. I said, "Well, you're welcome to leave," and I'm like, "There's no reason for me to leave. If you want to go,
Okay.
you can go." But
I hear that.
the safety, nobody. Why would she think she's not safe? She's never been attacked. Or there's no allegation of abuse, and he keeps throwing this word safety in there as if it's meaningful because it's a buzzword. But that's, my goodness, nobody's going to attack anybody. It's never happened and never will. It's not who I am, and she knows that. Even if I am agitated or upset right now, I'm not gonna do anything. My goodness, no. I mean, that's
Okay, so if it's not at the house and it's not at a supervised, I understand why you might be concerned about a supervision.
Can I ask a question?
location. Yes,
How long does this take? Is the question.
what,
This process?
the process of getting a divorce?
Yes.
Well, it depends. If you guys come to an agreement for a final divorce decree, the court can approve an agreed decree after 61 days. If this remains contested, the court will eventually set this matter for a final trial, usually 6 to 8 months down the line. And you guys will be ordered to mediate before final, and then you'll be set for a final trial. Okay, like I said earlier, if you hire a lawyer and you want to file a motion to reconsider or a motion for additional temporary orders, there's also opportunity for you to have the court revisit temporary orders in the interim. If that's appropriate and you guys get a motion on file and notice, but sometimes up to a year, sometimes longer, depending on what
This
goes
is
on.
it's not that complicated. I mean, we don't have,
Okay.
50 properties and things to.
Sure, if I'm making an order for a temporary order for some place for you to meet up with the girls. Is there a family member's house or restaurant or someplace else that you would prefer to do that?
Uh,
Is that an appropriate from your view? Okay.
Yes, it's a family place.
It's a family
Okay.
bar.
All right. So, okay, so I'm gonna name, and you mentioned you bought a car. What kind of car is it?
Cadillac.
Bentley.
So, and you're not disputing that she should have possession of the Nissan?
No.
Okay, so, petitioner will have exclusive possession of the Nissan and make all the payments on that. Respondent will maintain possession of the Cadillac. I hadn't heard whether there's a payment on it or not.
No,
Okay, you just bought it outright.
yes.
Okay. Each of you are enjoined from entering or exercising control over the other's vehicle. I'm gonna name you guys for now, temporary joint managing conservators of the children. Each of you will have all of the rights and duties in chapter 153, 073, 074. It's making sure I'm 153, 073, 153, 074, and 153, 076 of the family code. So all the general rights and duties that parent managing conservators have. With regard to major decisions on a temporary basis, the mother's going to have the rights in 153, 132 exclusively on a temporary basis. The parties will communicate regarding the children using Talking Parents. It's a parenting app, sir. I think Talking Parents is free. And that way, if you guys have questions, and he's entitled to information about the children and decisions that you're making. And so you guys can use that to talk about the kids, okay? On a temporary basis. It's talkingparents.com, I believe. And Miss Norabong will put the form language for a parenting app in the temporary order and send that to you. So you'll have that information, sir, okay?
Thank you.
With regard to possession and access, the father will have, and for now, the children's residence is restricted. I'm not gonna order that the visitation be supervised, although I understand that you dispute some of her accounts about what's been going on. But I'm going to order that the parties actually, I'm gonna make the temporary restraining order that I signed a temporary injunction. So that just sort of prevents anyone from going and, selling the house without permission and
They need to
doing
sell the
anything
house
weird.
though.
But also one of the injunctions is consuming alcohol within 8 hours prior or during a period of possession. And actually, I'm rephrasing the way that you guys drafted that particular injunction. So I'm adopting all of the TRO and making it a mutual injunction. And then for 38, it should read consuming alcohol within 8 hours prior to or during a period of possession. The way, I think it's a typo in the way that it's drafted in the TRO. Okay. And then the parties are authorized, as in the TRO, to spend money on to incur indebtedness and make expenditures for reasonable and necessary living expenses for food, clothing, shelter, transportation, or medical care, to make expenditures and incur indebtedness for reasonable attorney's fees and expenses in connection with this suit. And also, I think the code says to operate their businesses, although it doesn't sound like that. It doesn't sound like you're continuing to operate that business. Is that correct, sir?
Not
Okay.
right this very second, no.
Just put the form language for that authorization, Ms. Garba. Okay. Let me go back to the pleading.
There are other points in the TRO that I would object to the entire thing being injunctioned.
I'm sorry, sir, is there some other part of the
it-
TRO that you object to?
Yes, I mean, well, it's asking for child support, medical and dental, when she's already switched over to hers.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. When I'm referring to the TRO, I'm just referring to, I see you looking at the document.
Right.
I'm granting the injunction starting on page 1 of 9, number 1 through third. So when I'm not saying I'm granting everything that she pled for temporary orders, I was just granting the injunctions, okay?
Okay. understand.
Back to the requested relief. Father is going to have, what's a good day of the week for you to meet up with the girls?
I'm
Sunday
open.
afternoon?
That's perfect. That's fine.
Okay. What's a good time?
Early, so they can
Victoria's
try to do
always
some
lethal.
work at,
Lethal.
3:00 probably.
Okay, so from 3 to 5?
Yes.
Okay, from 3 to 5, and that can either be at BB's or at a family member's house. You'll just need to provide via talking parents, where it is. So between the restaurant or your family
Yeah,
member's
and it's called
house.
3. It's the word 3,
Three
the letter
Bs.
B. Yes. Apostrophe yes. Yes.
What's the problem,
And-
ma'am?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't hear what day of the week?
On Sundays at
Okay.
3 to 5.
Okay, I think that's fine until we know the schedule for club practice, volleyball practice. But right now it's fine. For temporarily, it's fine.
It's usually later than that. The practice is usually at 5 or 7 at night. So, but
The practice.
we'll be done with that by then.
Okay.
God, I hope.
Would earlier in the day make it better for club practice, sir?
No, I mean, I think it's fine right now. Right now, the club practice hasn't started. I'm just saying later on when we get this,
Okay.
and we don't know the schedules yet, so we won't find that out for a while.
Okay, so for now, it'll be from 3 to 5 if you guys want to agree. So it's by mutual agreement, failing mutual agreement, 3 to 5, either at 3.
It was after the divorce was filed. It was 2 months ago. 2 months ago, he spent $200,000.
3B's restaurant.
And now he's saying she has all the money and he can't get a lawyer because she has all the money.
Or one of your family members' houses. The order should read that it's at 3B's unless he designates a family member's house in the Harris County area. And then mom, you'll drop off the girls to him and pick them up after, okay?
Just to clarify, Your Honor, that designation is to be done through talking parents, and is there a certain window of time that he needs to do it by before Sunday?
By Friday before, and unless he designates another place, it'll be at 3B's.
Okay.
Okay? So if you don't designate, just plan on meeting them at 3B's.
Yes.
Don't leave them sitting there and you not show up, okay?
Never.
All right, I'm not gonna order the alcohol treatment program at this juncture. So that's denied. I don't think I have sufficient evidence to order the support, although if he starts working and you guys want to file for additional temporary orders, you can do that. So I'm not ordering either of them to pay support to the other at this time. Readdress that. And I don't think I've identified a source of interim fees at this point, although I imagine if he hires a lawyer, y'all might be back on that issue. So I'm not ordering either of them to pay the other interim fees right now. Although, like I said, sir, if you hire a lawyer, it could be that y'all file a motion and I see you guys back on that issue. I think that is all that you guys have pled for. Is there anything that I haven't ruled on one way or the other?
Or can you provide a time period in which they need to register for Talking Parents
By Friday,
by Friday?
this Friday.
And sir, the email address that we discussed earlier is a good email address for sending the order to.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so entry of that order will be Friday, August 16th at 9 a.m. It's by Zoom, sir. And so what's going to happen is Ms. Noravon is going to put what I just said into a written order. She'll send it to you. If you agree that it matches what I said, you don't necessarily have to agree with what I said, but if it matches what I said, you can sign it and approve it as to form. So that means that you agree it matches what I said. Don't put as to form and substance on the bottom because he clearly doesn't agree to the substance. Okay, Ms. Noravon? So if you agree to the form, you can send it back and she'll just turn it in. If you think that something that she put in the order doesn't match what came out of my mouth, and you talk to her about it and you guys can't work out any drafting issues, that's the only purpose of the hearing on August 16th, okay? To make sure that the order matches my rendition. If you do hire a lawyer, and I understand that you might have some issues doing that, but if you talk to a lawyer about that, okay? Have them call Ms. Noravon or Ms. Casey. Ms. Noravon, do you work for Ms. Casey or are you just sitting in for her today?
Yes, Your Honor, I work for her.
Okay, so call Ms. Casey's office. Their information should be on the pleadings. And have the lawyer that you talked to call. Okay?
I do have a question.
Yes, sir.
Now, is it like a prison wall in terms of the house? Like I cannot go there for any reason whatsoever? How does that?
Unless by agreement. So if she invites you over, yeah. So you'll need to grab the things that you're gonna need. Okay? All right. Y'all are excused. Okay? Good
Thank
luck.
you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your
Thank you, Your
Honor.
Honor.
I missed the part when he actually said it, but I mean, she was like, "Do you want to move out?" And he's like, "No, she left. She's the one that left. Why should I move out?" She chose this. She chose to leave, not me. Oh man. So she gets to go back into the house with the kids, which was probably going to happen anyway. So they bought the house during their marriage, but she paid for the down payment, but she really didn't. Her parents did. Could you imagine your parents just giving you $50,000? All those cats bit my headphones. Err. All right, buying wireless. My mom is never going to give me $50,000. Nope, absolutely not. But, I'm probably never going to buy a house. Let's be real. I'm never going to be able to buy a house. All right. I pulled that out of my archives today because I didn't have time to go search for good content. When I got off work, I fell right to sleep. I didn't even eat dinner. I just fell right to sleep. So I wish there was more fighting in it. That's why it was in my archives because they didn't fight enough for me. I'm glad you woke up too, Clarice. And I know Kelly hates these. I know CJ hates these, but it's court, you know? Court, you get all kinds of cases. You should see what else I have in my archives. I have some that are just too much, but I can't throw them away because they're crazy. Aw, a Barbie house. Thank you, Legal. Legal's my mom now. My mom just gave me money for a house, a down payment. Oh, man. All right. I only have to work half a day today, like one shift. I have to work a full shift, but I don't have to work a double. So I should have some good content for tomorrow. And I always get super excited on Saturdays and Sundays because like okay, a new week is about to start. What kind of court cases are we going to find this week? I'm guarantee you maybe. I guarantee you that maybe we're going to find some really good ones this week. I want another one like the beep 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 one. I think it's time for one of those. I mean, okay, so sob sits are fun to watch, but they're not as funny as the beep 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 ones and those and the crazy ones. Like that divorce case. Remember that divorce case where the guy was doing lawn maintenance or whatever, whatever and moved down with his dad? That was awesome. That was awesome, awesome. I loved that case. I am not sitting for a calendar. It is a mod calendar. I am definitely not a mod. I have never been a mod. Well, I'm a mod somewhere else, but no, it's a mod calendar. They need to sit for the pictures. Do they still have glamour shots? Do they still have glamour shots around? Because y'all need to get yourself to glamour shots and then send me that picture. And then I will make a calendar up. Or bingo cards with that in the background would be better. I'm not the cover image. No way, man. Heck no. Tokyo, thank you. More memberships from Tokyo. I hope you're looking at the comments because there was a really good one today. You know what? I wonder if I can just find it real quick. They got a membership yesterday, and it was that person I said at the very beginning, and it's leaving my brain. I said thank you. Oh yeah, MJD111. Hold on, I gotta find it. MJD111 had a really good thank you for the membership. No, that wasn't MDJD111. It was someone else. It was someone else. Anyway, you guys got to look at the comments if you're going to buy memberships because they are very, 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 very thankful. They just love it. I mean, seriously. Wish I could find that comment from yesterday. It was really good. Made me smile. I just see a whole bunch of happy birthday Lenuses. And origins of saltwater taffy. Speaking of, it's right here. I'm gonna eat a little bit more today. Oh, wrong one. What did you say, Lori? I will purchase that calendar. Fozzie, go to Glamour Shots. Listen, guys, this is the internet. Nobody knows what you really look like. Well, except for you, Fozzie. You keep showing yourself. Almost all of your body parts. You can just fake it. Just send a fake picture in. Create it with AI. Maybe you'll have like 6 fingers. And be like, yo, this is me. This is I sent a fake boob pic in Discord yesterday. Those certainly aren't mine. They were covered, guys. It wasn't like a naked picture. Because we don't go that far, guys. I mean, you can with Donald. That's fine. At least you said arms. Thank you for saying arms. Well, isn't it cool? I don't know what's gonna happen this week, but but I'm telling you, we're gonna get some good cases this week. I know it. I just know it. I can't wait. I can't wait till court starts on Monday. Yep, a new Cadillac. Send as many fake ones as you want. Who's gonna know? It's the internet. So just so you guys realize, you have no idea who you're talking to here. We could have serial killers, nuns, and everything in between. Half the guys in here could really be girls. Half the girls in here could really be guys. You don't know. And then we got names where you have no idea if it's a guy or a girl. Raven, are you a guy or a girl? I'm saying guy. Other people think it's a girl, but we don't know. And you could tell us and you might be lying and we wouldn't know. So just go with it. I need $100,000. Oh God, I do not want $100,000. Forget it. Forget it. I would own like 30 cats, I think. Is it? It could, that's you're definitely 50% right. Are you though? Are you really? Yeah, but are you a guy or a girl? You didn't answer. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being new here. Lisi, I believe you're a girl. I love you. And I believe you're a unicorn. And you know what? Rebecca, I know you're a tree. I know you are. Bull riding. You could be bull riding for your picture. Yep. And you could be. You could be. 10 kids, 15 fathers. That math checks out too. Thank you, Fozzie. Killing beers. Killing those beers. You have good ideas all the time, girlfriend. You have good ideas all the time, except for how you would spend your $200,000. You didn't even put M&Ms in there or nothing. I'd buy me a case of M&Ms. No, there are no girls on the internet. None. Zero. Excuse me. I don't know what a tiny beer is. I have no idea what you're talking about. What even is that? Tiny beer. I am tired of serving these beers like this. I met a Sarah that was a guy before once in this chat room. So, Sarah, we're just assuming you're a guy. We're just going to. No, Charlotte, you can't be a rabbit because what rabbits write so beautifully? What rabbits have great handwriting? None. They don't have opposable thumbs. Yeah, you learn something new here every day. I've never knew a rabbit that could draw a little X on a little picture and say that's where I live. All right, guys. Hey, if your parents loved it, then it's great. They don't have opposable thumbs. These kind. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, Kelly, you're so late. Your cats are going to attack. I have 13 animals I have to go feed, and they're driving me crazy. I've had enough. Oh, Charlotte, so are you. Everybody loves you because you're so dang nice. All right, guys. It's Sunday, so rest, relax, breathe. Maybe don't watch the news today. Maybe watch like a Hallmark movie or something. Maybe just have a good day and forget about everything else until tomorrow. Tomorrow's Monday. We can get all the stuff tomorrow and then be grumpy tomorrow. But today, don't do it. Go buy a Snickers bar for yourself and I don't know, do something that doesn't involve stress. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, mods. You guys are the greatest. Even you, Fozzie, you're the greatest. You're the greatest. And I'm going to play my outro that I guess I could have worked harder on, but I did leave a lot of mistakes in the outro because I don't want people expecting too much when they come here. Don't don't expect professionalism because it's never going to happen on this channel. I am not a YouTuber. We are all friends. We are just hanging out and talking. That's what's happening. And I will see you guys in Discord. Bye guys. No hablo. Fozzie, no hablo.
Got these life that goes digital dreams. Through the screen, her blue eyes gleam. Wicked humor, sharp as a knife. Her stream sparks electric light. Late at night when the world sleeps, she's the friend that always keeps. Giggles roll like thunder loud. She stands out in any crowd. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted, sharp. In a way, there's no alarm. Freedom tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle, she lights the way. Her eyes near a sky so blue. In her jokes, there's a truth so true. With extreme, she brings the light. Turns dark days into bright. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted, sharp. In a way, there's no alarm. Streaming tales late into the night. Her laughter feels just right. Even when my world turns gray, with a giggle, she lights the way. Kathy's laugh cuts through the gloom. Eyes blue like a summer's bloom. Her humor dark and twisted, sharp. In a way, there's no alarm.